Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How was your Thanksgiving, Barry?
Gobble, 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 Joe.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
delicious. It was
yeah.
delicious. Had some great food, great family, great fun. It was a good time. Have no complaints, my friend. No complaints. How about you?
That's what it's all about: family, food, friends, and just having a good time.
Absolutely. Giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tonight, I wanted to talk about the MLB because not since the season ended, but the off season is just starting to heat up, you know. So now the Yanks they appointed a former minor league hitting coordinator. His name is James Rowson, and he's going to be the new hitting coach, but he worked with Judge in the minors, so he's going to reunite with Aaron Judge. Um, and he's homegrown from Mount Vernon.
mm.
Yeah. And he's going to be bringing with him about 22 years of MLB coaching experience. He spent 9 years with the Yankees, and then he went off and worked with the Twins and the Tigers. So he's coming in and he says he's looking forward to working with Stanton and that 191 batting average of his. So we have to we'll have to see how that goes, but
Mm-hmm.
hey, anything to help because he's just in a funk. So, and you know,
Mm-mm-mm.
here's some prospects I think the Yanks should look at.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, they are considering Jordan Montgomery, but I think he likes his beard, so that might be a deal breaker for him.
Mm.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
but that they made that deal made Cashman look stupid on so many levels.
You
But
know he's on his last leg, you know.
yeah, I hope so. You know, so but and I thought they should go after Cody Bellinger because this
Mm-hmm.
guy he can play center, he can play first, he hits for average. He's coming off of a good year, and he steals bases, so they could put him in center. And the thing about Soto that worries me is
Mm-hmm.
okay that everybody's saying the Yanks have a really good shot at getting him, but at what cost? Because if you give up the farm for him and then you can't sign him, then he's just a rental for 1 year. So
Mm-hmm.
they got to make sure that they can sign him, and if Hal is going to loosen up those purse strings, because he's going to have
Mm.
to, you know. And this other guy, this Japanese pitcher, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the whole league is looking at him. So
Mm-hmm.
that price tag it might be out of Steinbrenner's price range because he's looking at maybe 200 million,
Mm.
you know, and the Mets will probably outbid everybody for him because they need pitching so badly. So
Mm.
they'll just throw money at him, you know.
Yeah, it really. Yep. Yep. Yep.
But I'm thinking the Yanks, they should go after Matt Snell, from the Padres, because hey, he's coming off of a Cy Young year.
Uh-huh.
And he's a lefty. You put him with Cole, in that rotation,
Uh-huh.
and they can get things done,
Okay.
and I also think they should go after the Padre closer Josh Hader,
Okay.
because we've been closing by committee,
Yeah.
so you know, and then the other
Mm-hmm.
thing is the Padres, their owner Pete Seidler, he passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and so, but the ownership is going to stay in the Seidler family. But I think what he was doing was he brought in all of these stars because he wanted to win now. Because I guess
Everybody
his
wants
health,
to win now.
yeah, but I think his health was failing, and that's why he did that. You
Well,
know,
I'll give you. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
no, that's my take on it. I mean, but they have a conundrum because they got you know Tatis Jr., Machado, Bogarts, Musgrave, Musgrove, and Darvish all have no trade clauses in their contracts.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of money that they can't move.
Well,
So
then it's a commitment to build and develop and win championships. If you're gonna make a move like that financially, that's got to be the reason why.
yeah, but it's not sustainable because they're in a small market and they have the third largest payroll.
Well,
So
it all depends on how the money comes into their organization. You can be a small. The what you're saying about a small market was true 25, 30 years ago. It's not true anymore because
mm,
of technology, right? So you don't need a big necessarily be in a big market because you can have fans from all over the world.
yeah, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
it's not just the stadium, because the way the money works, on Smarterfan, we do with business, life, and sport.
Hmm.
So, you know, the money's in the TV. Sports really didn't take off until the '60s because of what? TV. Because you
Yeah,
can't, there's no stadiums that are going to be built to house 3 million, 5 million people. That's just not going to happen. So
yeah.
why is TV spending so much money? Because of the broadcast rights, because you could be
Mm.
broadcasting to 100 million people who can see your product.
This
You
is
see what I
true.
mean? So
This is true.
that's where the money is. So you can be in, I mean, you can be in a small market and win. Probably being in a small market in this technological age probably works better for you than being, or just as equal to being in a big market, because you have the same reach as a big team.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see how that shakes out. You know. So what's on your mind?
Oh, so much is on my mind all day. I've been getting this. Yeah, 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 yeah. About my Buffaloes. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. All
yeah.
these kids are decommitting, Barry. They're not gonna have the players. Da 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 da. I said, have you ever been recruited? No. I said, players decommit all the time, all the time.
Hmm.
And he said, oh. I said, I'll give you a prime example how this works. You get recruited by your dream team, your dream coach. He comes to you, sits in your living room, promises you the world. You get to camp, you sign, you're happy. You get to camp and you look for your head coach and you go, where's head coach? Oh, he took a job. We got a new head coach. What? He didn't even call me. He didn't even tell me he wasn't going to be here. You signed because you wanted to play for him. Now you're in a system with a coach. He don't know you. He don't have a relationship with you, right? He doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? He just inherited
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Then he comes in and puts in a system that doesn't fit your skill set. So you're grinding it out, trying to see how it can make. Thank God the portal opens up, and you have the ability to go to somewhere like CU and ball out. Now,
Mm.
pay attention to this. The person said, I never thought about it that way. I said, I know you didn't because you don't understand anything about recruiting. Kids decommit, recommit. It's the best thing that ever happened to college football, because things change that you can't control as an athlete, right? So the
That's
coach
for
can take
sure.
a. You don't control anything. So you sign, and now you're sitting behind two All Americans, and it don't look like you're gonna get to play until your third year, maybe, right? So somebody said, "Well, what's gonna happen with Colorado when Shador leaves?" I said, "Did you see this? Did you see the backup quarterback? Who, in my estimation, we don't have anything to work about. So those other kids that decommitted, I hope it works out for them. I hope it does because they said, well, why do you say it like that? I said, I say it like that for this one reason. There are very few, most 98 percentage of D1 college coaches do not have the influence that a Deion Sanders does. He says, what do you mean by that? You could play for Deion Sanders. You may not, you may have a great career, but you may just be flying under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
All 90% of the GMs in the NFL either played with or against Deion Sanders.
Yep. Yep.
So whether maybe you had a career, you'll get drafted like Shador, get drafted like da da da. You have somebody like Deion Sanders who will give us. You don't think he's getting calls from scouts and teams about his players? Who's a real dog out here, Deion? Who knows how to evaluate talent, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
sure.
So the person's going, oh my goodness, I didn't think about it. So think about even if you're fly under the radar, right? But a team calls you, hey, and he can call and say, hey, I got this offensive lineman, I got this defensive lineman, I got this linebacker. Hey, let me tell you, this kid got the right attitude, great work ethic, and he can ball. He can
Mm-hmm.
ball, right? Because teams are always looking to find bargains. We know about that, don't we, in Dallas, right? We know
Yeah.
about that, right?
Yep.
Right? Find a diamond in the rough and look like a hero. So the person said, oh my goodness. I said, this is what is fear that I fear many of these kids are not measuring. Is that I could go to Colorado and not get drafted one way, but I could get drafted 5 ways. My
Mm.
coach can actually get on the phone with a GM and get me in the league if I
Hmm.
put in the work and show them I got the ability, right?
Yeah.
People
Hey.
don't know. Dwight Clark, the fake 49ers, number
Yep.
87, who made that
Mm-hmm.
catch, do you know how he got in the league?
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Do you
I know.
know? Okay,
Yeah.
let's share it with the people. Walsh went to his college and was looking for a quarterback, needed somebody to catch for the quarterback, and Dwight Clark was his roommate as
Hmm.
tight end. Walsh
Okay.
saw him and said, I'm going to draft you, and did.
Hmm.
10-year career with the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
You know.
I don't even think he was a college All-American. You see what I'm saying? Talent is
Yeah.
talent. You get the right eyeballs on you, you can be in the league, and he made most of the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what these kids are. A lot of people around them are not telling them. That's the advantage of going to CU. He's got many ways to get you in the league if that's your dream. So
Yeah.
I just hope and pray that it works out. They're going to find out it's a business and it's not going to slow down. And I got more to say, but go on. Let me throw the ball back to you, Joe.
All right. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Uh, talk about this Formula One driver named Lewis Hamilton.
My guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, yeah, he was, born in the UK. His mother was from Birmingham. His father is of Grenadian descent,
Mm-hmm.
and he identifies as black.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his father, bought him a go-kart when he was 6 and promised to support his racing career as long as he worked hard at his school, which he did. And his father worked 4 jobs just to keep this going for him,
Yep.
and he managed him until 2010. And Hamilton has said that if Formula One had not been, hadn't worked out for him, he would have become a footballer or a cricketer. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's what he said. He began his career in 2001. in the 2001 British Formula Renault Winter Series, and he moved up to full time in 2002 and won a championship. You know, then he made his debut in 2004 in the Formula 3 Euro Series, uh, ending the year fifth in the championship. And he dominated the Euro Series in 2005, winning 15 of the 20 rounds. So this guy could drive,
Yeah.
So
He's amazing.
yeah, in 06 he moved to the ASM's sister GP team, the Art Grand Prix, and for that season he won championship in his first attempt.
Mm.
And that success presented the opportunity to drive for McLaren in 07. So he drove for McLaren from 07 to 2012. And in his first season, he partnered with two-time defending world champion Fernando Alonso. And he's the first, and as of 2023, the only black driver to race in the series. So, he's making statements, and he's the first British driver to win the world championship since Damon Hill in '96. He became the youngest Formula One world champion. So he's just doing it all. He's currently driving for Mercedes right now. He started that in 2013, and the change in regulations. Salute.
Thank you.
The change in regulations mandated the use of turbo hybrid engines, and that just took his game to a whole nother level. And he won 7 drivers' titles, and he's been credited with furthering Formula One's global following by appealing to a broader audience. And he finished 7th in the Vegas Grand Prix. So Max Verstappen finished first. So this guy, he's done it all, and he still hasn't really gotten started yet.
No, I've been following him his whole career.
Yeah,
he's the truth. He is the truth. He has pushed the envelope. He is a superstar of Formula One. And he's kicking butt. He is kicking butt.
And taking numbers.
Yep. I mean, he's exciting to watch. He's extremely skilled. And just because you've been beating me on history like 20-1, I got something for you. He has a brother who also drives, but his brother drives in the truck series, but his brother is also handicapped.
Oh yeah, that's right.
His brother is also handicapped. So so it's interesting. I saw a special on him and his brother who are very, 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 very close. So I think and his brother's like a beast with video game driving. I mean, it's just like even with his handicap, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's an amazing story how close they are and how they support, how he supports his brother and they support each other. And it's just a really great family story how the two brothers are so close and driving. But Hamilton he's an amazing guy. Amazing guy. And
I tip my hat to him.
I tip my hat to him as well. So what else you got? Or are you throwing the ball back to me?
I'm throwing the ball back to you.
Hey, my friend, let me tell you something. I know I talk about CU so much. Colorado Buffaloes recruiting. 2 weeks ago, I had an opportunity. We're going to have him on Smarterfan podcast. He's actually a sports agent for a number of football players in the NFL and different leagues. And we're going to have him on, Smarterfan podcast. We take care of our fans here. We take care of our fans. We're going to have him on. We're going to have a lot of other people coming on. We're going to have Q&A. All that's lined up right into 2024. So there are a lot of things happening, folks. So you want to stay tuned. you want to subscribe, you want to like, you want to share, because it's going to be an
Mm,
exciting opportunity for you to participate in an interactive way on Smarterfan podcast, because we're always pushing the envelope to add more value, to make it a more
yeah.
engaging experience. And so we just want to give you a heads up of what's coming, and we want you to be a part of it. And so, last but not least, not last, but I just I had someone ask me today about the business of sport.
Mm,
And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, Barry, give me some idea. I said, sports has become, in my humble opinion, a 24-hour, 7-day a week business.
that's the truth.
There's no off season.
Not anymore. No.
There's no off season. And they said, well, why? I said, because there's so much, there's so much money to be made and really product to be sold. Because that's really the genesis of sport. Sport
Mm,
gets eyeballs. Advertisers need what? Eyeballs to see their product. That's
mm.
why the money keeps going up.
Oh yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
the formula. And I said that lends me to what really sticks in my craw about not college football and what the NCAA could do, should do, should have done 20 years ago, which is making sure all those student athletes share in the revenue that they generate at these universities and provide them 3 years of academic eligibility that they already earned
Mm-hmm.
because they've been generating millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the person was like, "Man, I never thought about it that way." I said, "Think about some place like Nebraska, just to make it obvious. There's really nothing in Nebraska but corn and football.
Yep. That's for sure.
But they got 100,000 seat stadium. Why do you think
Mm.
that? Because that's the major employer for for Nebraska. The University of
Yeah.
Nebraska is a health center. I mean, it's a sprawl. It's a city, but it's really the University of Nebraska, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you think about how much economy that football team generates for Nebraska. It's huge. You know, I can't. You start to go to Ohio State. You start. Have you ever been to seen what Penn State Stadium looks like? It's it's
Mm.
it's it's amazing. Michigan, 100,000 people. Not one game, not the big game. Every game, every
Yeah.
year. So multiply that and say, well, if 100,000 people order one $6 drink,
Six
one
dollar drink.
I'm being conservative. It's really probably 20, right? Right, Joe? It's probably $20, right? And a hot dog and a pretzel. Divide that by 100. Multiply that times 100,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when the last time Michigan won a national championship? Neither of us remember.
It don't matter as long as they beat Ohio State.
Exactly. Right. So these are the kind of this is the kind of economics that exists in sports, professional, collegiate, and that's why I always believe that college athletes, pro athletes, should make as much money. But I'm going to end on this note. Someone said something very interesting about Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Hurts, to me, I think he's a great quarterback. I've been a fan of his for a very long time. I probably became more of a fan of his as he went through Alabama. There are not many athletes who could endure the process. And this is my point.
Mm-hmm.
Plays for a major D1 school, wins a national championship as a quarterback, is in another national championship, gets pulled by the coach. They put the backup in. The
Mm.
backup, Tua, wins the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen has to make a decision. Do I stay and fight for my job, or do I move on? He decides to move on. This is why these young people, and what I said earlier, don't understand a lot of what's going on. And let me explain. Jalen goes to Oklahoma.
Mm.
Who just left Oklahoma?
Mm.
Who? Do you
I
remember? Yes, you
I
do.
don't remember. Um.
Yes, you do. He played at
Oh.
Cleveland before
Oh.
Deshaun.
Oh.
Baker
Oh. God.
Mayfield.
Yes.
Boy, we got to get you some ginkgo biloba. Baker, Baker Mayfield. So think about the two quarterbacks they recruited out of high school or from wherever who thought they would get a chance because Baker's leaving to be the quarterback. Guess what the coach decides? Shoot, I'm gonna go get me Jalen Hurts. He needs someplace to play. See how your career can go?
Yeah.
Things you don't
Yeah.
control,
Yeah.
right? And the beautiful thing I love is how he has played it through. Very difficult. Win a national championship, you're the guy, you get pulled, you lose your job, you transfer, you get to the draft, you're not getting a lot of love in the draft. You're not getting a lot of love, right? And endures and succeeds and things are on an uptrend. Gets his boy Brown, who also wasn't given a lot of love in the draft, right? They ended up teaming up, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Look where he is. Look where Baker is.
This is what I tell you. There's a lot. I don't say this to be mean, but again, there's a lot of number ones, twos, and threes sitting at home and not in the league, and a lot of 6, 7, and 8s and undrafteds that are in the league. You know, there's a lot of moving parts to have success on each level you play. Things you control and things you don't control. Think
And we
about
got
this. Go ahead.
We
Think
got
about.
one.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. We
Think
got
about.
one.
Go ahead. Both of us need some ginkgo biloba. Go ahead.
We got one 6th rounder who's a Hall of Famer now, or will be. And that's the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Picked 199 or something crazy like that. So, as we say, Smarterfan podcast, we always have something new. We always have something great. We always have something tasty on our table. See you next week. Joe, enjoy. Eat the remaining of those turkey sandwiches. I know you got a few left. I know you got a few left. There you go.
Turkey soup.
Enjoy, my friend. See you next week, family.
All right.
Smarterfan podcast coming at you.
Smarterfan.